Hi, mate. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's good to have a chat with you. You're a relatively new member of the Keep Fat Club, so if we can just spend a few minutes having a chat. But I'd like you just to tell our viewers what was happening before you joined the Keep Fat Club. Where were you up to? Why you joined the Keep Fat Club, and what's happened since you've been here? Thanks.
Well, cheers. Thanks. And thanks for your time. And thanks to those who are watching as well. I hope you get some inspiration from it the same way that I did. I've always kind of struggled with weight, to be quite honest. Beer isn't my friend. So I love lager, but it doesn't love me. So I can walk past a pub and put a couple of pounds on. But I also love socialising. I love going out with friends and having a few beers. So over a number of years, as I got older, I'm 53 now and 6 foot, just for some context. I just put weight on and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the older you get, the harder it is to lose weight. And I've tried all sorts of diets throughout the years. To some effect, some worked, but not enough to motivate me as much as this one has. So bringing it up to date, I got to the 1st of January last year, 2020, 1st of January 2020, and like everybody else after the festive period, decided I'm going to lose some weight with the target, the fact that at the back end of March, I was due to go to Dubai and then on to Sri Lanka to watch the England cricket tour. So I thought, there's my target, lose some weight so I look good, ready for being in Sri Lanka. So I started the keto diet and I downloaded the app and I measured all my food and I recorded all my food. And I ate way too much fat because the app told me that I wasn't eating enough fat. And I cut all the sugar out, and I cut all sugar out, and I cut all everything, booze, chocolate, the whole lot out. And I was losing weight, but not enough to motivate me versus the sacrifice I'd made in terms of the way I was eating. So I went to Dubai. I didn't get to Sri Lanka because the pandemic hit, and I had to return home. And then I spent the summer of the first lockdown sitting in the garden at the end of the working day and weekends, just drinking and listening to music and enjoying myself because it was not a great time. And the weight piled on and on and on. And I got absolutely huge, a lot bigger. So I think the heaviest I was 22.5 stone, which is 313 pounds or 139 kilos for those of you, wherever you work in. And I just felt awful. I looked awful. If I went for a walk because of the constant weight, my knees were hurting just through the pounding, the pressure on the joints of my knees. And then lockdown 2 came along, which was 14 weeks ago yesterday. And I know that exactly because that's when I've started recording. And I thought, well, this lockdown period, I'm going to change things round. I'm going to come out of this lockdown with a positive. And I'm going to lose all the weight that I put on. And I plan to go back onto keto. And then I saw your video. I remember exactly where I was, exactly what time. And I sat looking at the YouTube and I thought, this guy's done well. Let's see what he did. And I just thought, yeah, I am eating too much cream. I don't even like cream. I don't actually like cream. But I was eating loads of sugar-free jellies with cream because it got my fats up, because this app told me. And then you said, but your body has now swapped from glucose or carbohydrates or glucose to burning fats. But it's burning the fats you're consuming, so it's actually pointless doing it. And I thought, yeah, you're right, absolutely right. Why didn't I think about that in the first place? So I cut all that out, and I just really strict to, and so then it just really was sort of, and I've mentioned this to you several times, it really was, I thought, bloody hell, yeah, that's right, I'm going to do that. So that was 14 weeks ago, yesterday, on Thursday. So that's how long we've been. And now I've lost 50 pounds as of yesterday, which is 3.57 stone or 22.6 kilo.
That's brilliant. That's fabulous.
My knees now, when I go for a walk, don't hurt in the slightest. This T-shirt is probably a bit too big for me now. I ain't been able to wear this since I bought it in Florida 2 years ago. And now I can, which goes to your video of showing the clothes that you used to wear. And you think, I can get in this now. And it really is motivating. So what I've done is I have cut everything out. So I've completely changed the way I eat and the way I live. I've had no alcohol now for 14 weeks, none whatsoever. I've cut out chocolate, junk, sweets. I've retrained my taste buds so I don't have sugar anymore. So in terms of coffee, I was always a cafe latte with 2 sugars if I wanted a treat. Now I'm just on black coffee, no sugar. And that's a massive change in taste buds, but it does me good. I have 2 cups of that a day in the morning, 2 cups every morning. And then I drink water for the rest of the day, nothing else. Food-wise, so when I first started, I went on to no more than 20 carbs a day, eating what I wanted, when I wanted throughout the day, but no more than 20 carbs a day. So it might be snacking and it might be a couple of meals and stuff. And then I was losing weight at a state where I was thinking, everything which I've chopped out is worthwhile because the scales and the way my body shape is coming, it's making me really feel good. And it balances and it works. And then probably 5 weeks ago, I then made another change and I went to 1 meal a day. And I've been on 1 meal a day for the last 5 weeks now. So again, 2 cups of coffee, black coffee in the morning, nothing but water. 6 o'clock, I'll have 1 meal and then 23 and a half hours fasting until the next meal. On average, I'm losing between 4 and 5 pounds a week. And I feel absolutely fantastic.
So sorry to interrupt you there. I just want to ask you a question. I don't know what your thoughts are. You've obviously toured YouTube looking at all these keto gurus and taking their advice. Why do you think they haven't sussed it out? Why do you think they're still peddling that? And I've got to call it a lie, because if it's not the truth, it's got to be a lie. Why haven't they figured it out? Why do they still come up with this nonsense and people come along with these macro charts and counting calories, which is there's no such thing as a calorie.
No.
You know, so
it is quite frustrating, to be quite honest, because I go on to Facebook and I look and I just think, and I'm the same as you, Treffin. I'm not an expert. It's just this, what I'm doing is working for me. And you see things on a daily basis about, but I've got all my macros right, and I've got all this right, and I've got all that right. And I was thinking, but you haven't, because you're on here telling me that you're on here saying I'm not losing weight, so you haven't got it right. It's very, very confusing. It's made something which is very simple very confusing, because people don't know what macros are and they don't know how to record. And I don't know, the more and more people, there's a couple of people who I've said to them, I've been in touch and I've said, hope you don't mind me getting in touch, but this is what happened to me. And I got in touch with this guy, Trefflin, and this is his group. Go and join it and forget keto. So when people say, oh, you're doing this on keto? No, I'm not doing keto, because I would just eat what natural fat is in food that I eat rather than excessive amounts of fat. But I don't know, because there are reams of evidence on that you can read and on YouTube about things about just keeping on a low carb diet and not the fats and not sugars. And it makes a massive difference. But until the medical industry really take it on board, nothing will happen. And you do get certain people like Tom Watson, as I've mentioned to you before in other groups, the former shadow leader of the Labour Party, he did exactly the same sort of thing and lost a lot of weight. And now he's pushing for people to go on to a low-carb stroke keto kind of diet, because it does help to reverse type 2 diabetes, which will then reduce the amount of money that we spend in the NHS just giving out tablets to cure what you could actually do yourself.
That's right. I mean, the amazing thing is it says it's still ketogenic, because what we're doing is we're living off ketones instead of living off glucose or glycogen. And the keto eating plan was set up in 1920 to treat people with epilepsy, because obviously epilepsy is a brain thing, and the brain runs on glucose. But if you make it run on ketones, then obviously the epileptic fits. That's what they discovered are fewer. So what they wanted to do was get these people to be in ketosis. So for the thin person to get into ketosis, you've got to have fat, because otherwise you'll rape your own body of fat, and you need some fat. But they took this misaligned, idea and called it a ketogenic diet. And now you've got things like clean keto, dirty keto. Then you've got keto diet recipes, and it's all a load of bunkum. You know, it's simple. Just cut out the carbohydrates. Don't add any fat onto your meal, and measure and monitor. You know what? I'm always telling people to keep a journal and to measure. And a lot of people say, no, I weigh myself weekly, weigh myself monthly. What's your thoughts on that, Lee?
I was exactly the same as those people were when I first watched your video. I just thought, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to keep a journal. I'm not going to keep weighing myself because what will happen is I'll get on the scales after 2 days and see that I haven't lost any weight, and that'll demotivate me. And I know what I'm eating. I don't need to write it down. And then as I started on the 14 weeks, I just thought, yeah, he's got a point, actually, because, I need to know what I'm eating. And you make a very good point in the fact that if you're not losing weight and you're not jotting down what you're eating, how can you see what you've eaten that has made an effect on what your weight loss is? So now what I do is so if people say to me, how much weight have you lost? I will only tell them what I lost on a Thursday. So it's a weekly basis. But I do log my weight every single morning, straight out of bed, straight to the loo, as we all do, and straight on the scales, same time every morning. So I get a consistent reading on my weight. And so I might go 2-3 days and there's no change. And then the next day it'll drop down £2 and then it'll stay consistent. But from Thursday to Thursday, there's a 4 to 5. Now, if I didn't record that, I'd see that I'm not really moving. But then when you look back to what you was last Thursday, you've actually lost £4. Don't complain about losing £4 in a week. And then the other thing is, people say, oh, it's very restrictive. Now, the way I do it, yes, it is very restrictive. I have cut everything out. And not a lot of people can do that. I'm blessed with willpower. And if I decide I'm going to do something, I'll do it, and there is no deviation whatsoever. So I do write down on a daily basis. I put it on the notes on my iPhone every single day, exactly what I consume, be it drinks, be it food. And then what it also does is it provides you with a written menu of the things that you've eaten before. So if you sit there and you think, what should I have to eat? You can just flick back and think, 13 weeks ago, I remember cooking that. That was very nice. I'm going to go and make that tonight because it has zero effect on my weight. Say zero effect. It has a downward effect on my weight because I know it's not going to trigger me to start going up because it hasn't done previously. And that's how you build up a repertoire. I strongly advise everybody who starts on this to keep a journal of everything. My downside, the one thing I wish I'd have done was measure myself. I didn't measure myself at the start, and I wish I had done, but I didn't. So I would say measure yourself, weigh yourself, do your food, because you'll see the results. And as I've said to a lot of people, the small victories make the difference. People come on the group and they'll say, I've lost £2 this week, or I've only lost £1. It's not only lost £1. You've lost £1. Add that to the £2 you probably lost last week. There's £3 you've lost, and build on it from that way. But so definitely put a journal together. Just write it down. It's a really good idea.
I encourage people to post their meals on there. I don't think a lot of people understand why we do that.
Yeah.
But I think you've sussed it out, haven't you?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. Well, there's a good thing and there's a bad thing about people posting their food on the group. When you're on one meal a day and you get to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and you're a bit hungry and people are posting their food, you think, oh, God, that looks so bloody good, but I've still got another 2 or 3 hours to wait. And there are some cracking things. I think it's essential. It's a great, great community. And I have led people to the Keep Fat Club group on several occasions because I get a lot of it. I've chatted to quite a few, like to yourself, to Tom, to Harvey. Harvey's a massive inspiration. Yeah, Harvey has lost so much weight and he's still got a lot. He will tell you he's got a long way to go. But what an inspiration that he's decided to do something and completely change. And there's a lot of people like that as well. I think the Keep Fat group motivates me because I'm going to let myself down and I feel like I want to come into the group and tell you what I've lost. And that keeps me focused to keep on going because I don't want to come into the group and say, I haven't lost anything this week because I had a chocolate bar or I had a bag of crisps. That ain't going to happen. So the group is absolutely fantastic and very, very supportive.
And obviously you do join us on Monday afternoons on the support group meetings. Do you find that helpful at all, Leo?
If you can get on it, or even if you can record it and just post it, because you do get a lot from it. It's people are doing it. People are doing it in different levels. I'm now on week 15. Some people like yourself have been doing it for now a couple of years. And people are on different levels. There's no agenda to the meetings. People just have their time in the meeting to talk about what they want to talk about. And it's really motivating. And there's some great ideas. And there are some people that will come in and say, but I only have one sugar with my coffee. And that's the one thing that's probably stalling you and causing you a problem. So you learn from that. And no one's going to criticise people. No one's going to say, you shouldn't be doing that. It's entirely up to you what you do. But what we would do as a group is say, you may want to try and reduce that. The big bugbear for me is people who say, oh, I've got a sweet tooth. What can I do because I've got a sweet tooth? I'd have probably the biggest bowl of willpower that you've got. And I tell you what, when you finish that bowl of willpower, go and get yourself another bowl and have another bowl of it as well, because it's your sweet tooth that got you to where you are now, wanting to lose weight. So the group is fantastic. I think it's great to look at messages. It's great to put questions on the Facebook group as well, because loads of people, including myself, will respond from my personal experience. But the Zoom call on a Monday is it just sets you up really good for the week and motivates. Well, it certainly does me. It motivates me.
Well, that's very encouraging for me, because at the end of the day, you know, I've ended up doing this. I didn't set out. I didn't have a big business plan. I didn't say, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I just thought, who can I help through having done what I've done? But the fact that we have people from Colombia and then we have people from Canada and America joining us every week. One of the things I was sort of looking at, we got a lot of members down in Australia. And I'm in contact with different people. One lady from Australia has actually written something. And she sent me a book called Diet Alternative. Right? Okay. It's a bit outside the box. So I'm not going to go too much into it. But having said that, I just want to thank you. I just really want to thank you today, Lee, for taking
no problem.
From what you're doing. I know you're very busy, and coming and just sharing and encouraging all our members. So before we wrap up, what would be your final view or your final comment, please?
Well, I just think instead of thinking about doing so, there's a couple of things for me. Firstly, read up on sugar, and it's not going to be easy. Don't think it's going to be easy, because it won't be, because you're making a major adjustment. So I've given my body sugar for 53 years, and when I stopped giving it sugar, it didn't like it. And you have a couple of fairly rough days because it is a drug. And you are on a come down from the drug, which is sugar, and you feel a little bit rough for a couple of days. When you switch from carbohydrates to glucose for energy onto your fats, you'll lose some energy for a couple of days when your body is searching for its next source, and it doesn't feel nice. You might get a bit of a cloudy headache, a little bit of a dull headache and stuff like that. But for me, that's thinking, if I've just been through that, I'm not going to spoil it now, because that means I've got to go through it again. I don't have a chocolate bar or a bag of crisps, because that may knock me out of fat burning and switch me back into glucose, and then I've got to start all over again. Don't want to do it. So cut out sugar, really drastically cut out sugar. If you can cut out sweeteners, even better, because all you're doing with sweeteners is giving your body and your mind that sweet taste that it craves. Some people can do it, other people can't. And there's no such thing as starting a diet on Monday, because Monday never comes. Because you think, oh, today's Friday, I think I'm going to start a diet on Monday. So what you'll do is you'll gorge today and Saturday, and you'll gorge on Sunday, because you're starting on Monday. Start now, right now, and then in an hour's time, you're an hour into your diet. So you've made that start. Monday never comes. And the final thing that I'll say is that I say to a lot of people, and one thing which is absolutely true, is that nothing tastes as good as weight loss feels. And I really believe that.
That's a great comment. Well, thank you so much, Lee, for spending time with us this morning. Hope you have a great day. And thanks to everybody who's watching. And, please comment down below. Let us know what you think. And join us on the Keep Fat Club on our Monday afternoon Zoom meetings. The details will be following. Anybody can join. There's no password. All you need is the meeting number, which is 451 889 3485, and that takes place at 4 p.m. on a Monday afternoon, and that's 4 p.m. GMT. So if you're in a different time zone, just check out and see what time it is in your time zone. But we'd love to see you and have a chat with you. Well, thanks again, Lee, for joining us. And thanks for being a star member of the Keep Fat Club.
Thank you. Thank you for your video.
Again on Monday. Cheers. Have a great weekend.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, God bless you now. Bye. I just hope that you enjoy these small videos that we put together for you. If you do, then don't forget to join us on the Warrington Low Carbohydrate Group on YouTube. Just ring the bell, just subscribe. And also, if you want to find out more about how we're fighting the war against losing weight and type 2 diabetes and other health issues, join us. Join us on the Keep Fat Club. So, thanks a lot again for watching this video. Stay safe. Bye now.
I've been keeping myself on mute because my dog's a bit loud today.
Oh, yeah.
Right on cue.
Yeah. They won't join in.
Eric, sure.
Something.
Yeah, I thought I'd join in today. Hang on a minute.
Okay.